Greetings YouTube, have a very good evening to you all. It's late at night here in the UK and it's very very cold outside in the middle of winter. But this came through the door the other day. This is the Deadzone Kickstarter Strike Team bundle, which I suppose pre-ordered, although backed is probably the right word that Kickstarter would like me to use. So what I thought I'd do in this video is just have a quick run through what comes in the box and what all the great things are that I got in here. Just a sort of cursory, not really an unboxing video. I've had a few days to look at the stuff and think about what's in here. Not specific, it's not specifically about an unboxing. It's more just what's in here and what my first thoughts are. So here's the box and the box art. It's lovely. It's kind of what we expect now. High finish. We've got some faction starter faction decks, Rebs, Marauders, the Plague and Enforcers, and then here are all the miniatures that you get, and there are lots of them. And then all really cool scenery sprues, which is really the reason I got into this, because I wanted them for Necromunda. Underneath you'll see this really nice gaming mat, and then here's like a plastic version which folds out. A very nicely made rulebook, although very thin and skinny by comparison to something GW would make perhaps. And then loads of counters that pop out, as you can see one's fallen out there already. The bases, which are sort of round with a sort of hole in the middle for the figure's feet sort of to slot into, some 8-sided dice because that's what you use for the game, and some bigger bases for bigger monsters and stuff, and then some odds and ends, some postcard type bits and pieces, a little note from Ronnie and the rest of the guys, romantic points, stamp thingy, the picking list, which was quite useful to just tell me what everything was, a little poster signed by Ronnie, and then also where did I put that? No, that appears to be it. So yeah, loads of stuff in the box. I reckon it was a good deal. Just for the scenery alone, I would have paid this kind of money. So a quick look at the scenery. You've got multiple sprues. These ones with panels on appear to be the ones which are specifically for the actual sides of these hab blocks, which seems to be the kind of design motif. These prefab buildings, which I quite like. It's very good for a sort of underhive type thing, if that's what you're building for Necromunda. So yeah, very nice. And then I'm assured by, I don't know, just reading around, I'm not sure where I found it out, but these connectors, let's see if we can show you, these little things connect the buildings up, because you see it's got little squares. These squares slot into the little holes which are there, so then presumably you can build them into all sorts of configurations. Then there's like an accessory sprue which has got like some sort of terrainy type bits, a bit like you used to get in the old Mordheim box set with the Necromunda one. You've got some gangway kind of railings and a ladder, and just some cover for your dudes to hide behind. So very nice. One major thing for me that I don't like about this thing is it doesn't really come with any instructions on how to build anything. GW do a really good job of writing instruction manuals, even if it's just a simple little pamphlet that shows you how to put things together. Mantic seem to have not really have learnt this thing. With Dreadball, I had the same problem where, I get this bag of miniatures and they look lovely and everything, but there's just nothing to tell me what bit goes where, so you end up sitting there kind of jigsaw puzzling your way through it, or alternatively looking at pictures and trying to hope that you get the right bits and pieces sort of in the right order. So one criticism is I wish it had like maybe a little pamphlet showing you, how you could put it together in various configurations. I will put a link in the notes below, which leads you to a sort of unboxing blog post that Mantic did, which sort of explains what everything is in the bags, and also sort of if there's any tips as to how to put them together, because they did quite a good job on that. It still doesn't really explain everything to me. Maybe I'm just an idiot, but I couldn't find any detailed instructions anyway. Right, but I mean, other than that, the gaming mat itself, this one here, is really nice. It feels good. It's a gaming board essentially, because the game is based on squares, and hopefully you can see the outline there. And you can have four individual figures in the squares, and some bigger creatures count as more, obviously, but you can have four units per square. Yeah, the way the terrain works seems to be quite cool, and they're called squares, they're called cubes, because obviously they try and encourage three-dimensional gaming, especially with the ability to build up. So I'm looking forward to trying out the rules. I think the best way to do this would be, first of all, figure out how to put the scenery together, in a way that doesn't destroy it, and then maybe do a little solo game through with some assembled figures and see what I can come up with. The Here I've got the starter sets. What I think I might do is once I've got time to sort of sift through what everything is, perhaps assemble a few, maybe. Then what I'll do is take the decks that are appropriate to the faction starter kits, which are these slightly bigger bags of miniatures, and sort of go through a little explanation of what everything is and how the stat cards work. I'm quite intrigued. I've read through the rulebook yesterday, not through any real depth, because obviously I need to play the game as I use the rulebook just to kind of get a real understanding of it. But it looks like a good deal of fun. It should be quite fast play as well. They're not bogged down by too much detail. Like I said, you move things from square to square. It's not so much a case of, you know, a millimeter here, millimeter there, deciding the outcome of the game. One thing that is odd is the use of D8. It's an odd dice to use. You would think if you're going to go for anything other than a D6, you'd probably go for a decimal dice, so you can, you know, use a system that's truly decimal, which I would quite like. But anyway, you know, Jake Thornton must have made that decision for a reason. So you know, we'll trust him in his superior knowledge of game design over my sort of amateurish one. So just a quick one. Some of these bags, they've got like, this has got some Plague Dudes in it. Some of them are booster packs. Here's an MVP, which I've already got. This is a Dreadball MVP, a Dwarven one like a Forge Father. We've got like this orky kind of marauder type guy. Got some what appear to be the these are the sort of the rebel ones. Those are going to be quite cool actually. You'll notice here are some humans, for instance. They're a bit more slight than the GW humans. What I'll do is once I've got them assembled, I'll do a side by side with like an Imperial Guardsman. Like I said, I won't labour the point now, but I think everything's a little bit slighter than the GW scale for 40k, so perhaps not very well mixed, if that sort of upsets you. But that said, I think that if you were to leave that at the door and not be too upset by it, especially with the aliens which are non-GW universe, it couldn't really hurt. I mean, the base sizes are the same. They're a bit odd, these bases, but you know, they're nice nonetheless. They're like little hockey puck type things. They'll paint up nice and they'll flop nicely, so who can really complain? I think these chaps will make a fun game. I reckon some of them could even make Necromunda gangs if we really want to. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, maybe we can cobble together a sort of hybrid set of rules. But I'll be honest, as much as I enjoy sort of trying new rules and stuff, I do kind of stick with what I know, and Necromunda will probably be what I play with this. The building should be versatile enough to be used for 40k or any other sci-fi setting. So yeah, I'm happy with the purchase. I think, you know, I'm glad that Mantic have made this. I really back them in most of the things they do, because they really do represent an alternative to GW. Not that I'm denigrating Games Workshop. I think they're a great company, great brand and everything. We all complain about the pricing, but you know, they're essentially a luxury miniatures company, and you know, Mantic are like the alternative. You know, they've got interesting things that they're doing with rules. They're coming out with Kickstarters. I know people sort of slag off the Kickstarters from time to time, but actually, do you know what? If this is how they manage to get things off the ground, good for them. They've followed through on both of the things I've backed. Dreadball, which, to be honest, I've had for ages, and I've painted a few figures, and I still haven't played yet. So maybe this will give me the impetus to play these for a bit. So if I try something different, you know, at least it gets me out of my comfort zone. So yes, hopefully the next time I do a video to do with Deadzone, I'll be doing something a bit more in depth on the miniatures. So hopefully you can have a real look, because they're still in the cellophane bags. I'm loath to sort of break them out because I'll just lose bits. I know I will. And then hopefully maybe a bit on the scenery. My only concern with the scenery is how is it you know, can you take it apart and put it back together again, and how doable is that, and you know, how will that mess up a paint job if you give it a paint job, and you know, that sort of thing. I'm just a little bit concerned, but I think what I'll do is to scrape the forums and stuff and maybe do a blog post about it. So yeah, there we are. Really nice stuff, and yeah, my recommendation is, once this is back in stock again, get one, buy one. It's well worth it. I'm still waiting for a few bits and pieces to come in the post, which should come soon. I think my Forge Father faction starter will come in 2014, so not long to wait now. So yeah, there's a sort of, here's hopefully a bigger shot of everything you get. Yeah, and it's a big box of joy. Right, thank you for watching Zen and the Art of Mini Painting's YouTube videos. Really enjoy it. Please do comment if you have any comments, especially with this, because obviously, you know, you might know more than I know. I'll be very interested to know, to see what other people think and to hear what other people think. There's been a lot of buzz about this on the internet recently. I think the only thing I would say is I wish they had painting guides in the rule book, or some sort of painting guide just to help beginners, and again, just some instructions. Those are basically the only negatives I can say. The figures we'll have to look at more in detail once I open the bags. Right, have a good evening and good night.